Welcome to Spiritual Changemakers, the podcast that guides you through tough times with practical tools and inspiring stories. I'm Andreea Tamas, your host and the Sacred Transitions Coach. Join us as we hear from spiritual changemakers who have connected with their higher power and overcame adversity. Whether you are navigating a difficult transition or seeking to deepen your spiritual practice, our podcast provides guidance to help you find magic in the change. Come on this journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and transformation with us and unlock your potential to become your best self. Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome to a new podcast episode on Spiritual Changemakers. Oh my God, I'm so excited. We have such a special and amazing guest today. We have Lee Holden, and I've met him the first time in person at Mindfulness University in Tallinn, Estonia. I've done all of his practices, Qigong in all of those big rooms. And then I met him again at AFES in Ibiza. And I was like, oh my God, I absolutely love your work, Lee. And I'm so happy to have you here and introduce your work and your mission, your purpose with more people. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Andrea. It was so great to meet you all over the world, all over Europe. What spectacular events with spectacular people like yourself. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and for those that don't know Lee yet, he has been in Qigong world for over 30 years. He has been influencing tens and thousands of people to calm their mind, to live a vibrant life through Qigong. And we are going to talk today all about energy, Qigong, and also about his upcoming new book, Ready, Set, Slow. And I absolutely love the name, and I cannot wait to hear more about what is the book about. So Lee, could you start by sharing with us first and foremost, what is Qigong?
Great question. And Qigong is easier to practice than it is to say, because it's a little bit difficult because it's spelled Qigong, Qigong, and it simply means energy work. It is the original energy work practice. Some 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, the ancient mystics out of the mountains of China originated this practice by watching nature, just mirroring their bodies with how nature moved to cultivate life force energy. So Qigong is a precursor to acupuncture, acupressure, massage therapy, Tai Chi, breath work. All of these things spring forth from Qigong practice. And I don't know if you know this, Andrea, but more people practice Qigong than any other form of exercise in the world. Some 30 million people practice Qigong each and every day, which has included Tai Chi, because Tai Chi is a form of Qigong.
It's a form of Qigong.
Yeah, it started out as Qigong, and then it kind of took Qigong principles, energy work principles, and mixed them together with martial arts, and then you get Tai Chi. So Qigong was a foundation of so many practices, and it has so much to offer us in modern life, because it is an ancient practice, but I think it is even more relevant in modern life than ever before, because people are so pulled out of themselves. We're constantly on devices. We're busier than ever. We have healthcare issues. And Qigong can help solve a lot of these problems by cultivating our own energy from the inside out.
Yeah, and I would love to hear how Qigong can help, and why would people choose Qigong and not all the other practices?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, because we do have sort of a spiritual buffet of practices laid out before us in modern life with the internet and everything. And for me, Qigong is accessible. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't need any equipment. You just need you and your energy system, your mind, your breath, your spirit, and you can do a wonderful practice. So it's very convenient. Plus, it combines conditioning, strength training, stretching, and moving meditation all in one practice. It's this beautiful alchemy of movement and meditation that's really embodied. And so I love it for that reason, because it's efficient. even though you're moving your body slowly at various times during your practice, you're very efficient to get you into a space of where you want to be. Often for modern people, I call Qigong a practice of less stress and more
Mm.
energy. It's going to clear your stress out of your system, and it's going to boost your energy. In fact, in Qigong, they say start your day with a lightning flash of vitality.
Oh,
And there's some great practices to energize your mind and body, and it doesn't involve a cup of coffee.
I love it. And you said something very key there. You said it involves a lot of practices like movement, meditation, and increases your energy. So, what I hear you telling me for a person that I do a lot of practices is like, oh my God, instead of spending 2 or 3 hours on my spiritual practices every single day, you tell me I can condense all of that in like, I don't know, you tell me how much time do you think a person needs to also see the effects and feel the effects, and in what is the period of time that the person
Right.
should do it in order to be like, okay, I'm ready to ditch my 2 3 hours of spiritual practices and switch it with qigong because I can do it in 20 minutes, or you tell me how long.
Right. And I have programs with different time frames. So I have a 30-day challenge, and it's only 7 minutes every day.
Mm,
You'll feel something in about 7 minutes, but I recommend like between 20 minutes and an hour. An
okay.
hour is like a perfect time of practice because you can really sink into it
Mm,
and create a big shift. When you're busy though, and you got like, we were just talking about my 4 children, it's the
yeah.
holidays, I have a few things, I'll do the under 10 minutes. I'll do practice like in the kitchen before I make breakfast. And I'll just be like, okay, I've been ignited, especially if you have a consistent practice, especially if you've done other modalities like breath work and yoga and meditation. It'll start to amplify all those practices. So yeah, I love an hour practice in the morning or in the evening. You can really do it anytime that's convenient for you. Traditionally in China, they would do it outside in nature in the morning as the
Mm.
sun would rise. They would soak up all this energy from nature. But you don't have to. You could be inside in a big city and do your practice and get all those benefits.
Yes, and I remember the first time I was actually introduced to Qigong was many years ago, probably 2018, something like that, where I went to a mini retreat 2 or 3 days and I did Qigong that I didn't know is Qigong at that time with my energy healer out in nature. And after it, I was like, wow, this feels so amazing. Just, you know, how we did it at the events as well. And I did your quest as well on Mind Valley on the Mind Valley app, like just tapping your body and the different points is like liberates so much, no,
Mm,
the stress out of the body and brings so much energy. So
yeah.
you said you even 7 minutes is better than nothing when you are busy. So what I hear with that is that doing less consistently, it's so
Mm,
much better than if you don't have an hour for those busy people.
that is right. Because some people are like, oh, shoot, I can't do a practice because I don't have an hour.
Yes.
And if you do a consistent, like 10-minute practice on a daily basis, after a month, 2 months, 3 months of doing that, you really get the benefit of it.
Mm,
So it doesn't have to take a long time to tune into yourself, have a moment with yourself, to be in the moment. I
yes.
said earlier that it's mindfulness in motion.
Mm,
And because everything in nature is in movement, everything in the universe is moving. What Qigong offers is a way to line yourself up with the movement of life all around you. So we feel that we're in a flow rather than in resistance. When we're in resistance, we feel stressed out.
yeah.
Our body tightens up and we get pain and we have discomfort. And so when you get into that flow state, all of a sudden you feel the opposite. You feel energized,
Mm,
inspired, excited. You feel alive. Life force energy is your aliveness. There is nothing so too esoteric about this concept of energy. It's not energy that's in the walls and powering your appliances. It is life force energy. And it's important to remember this is a mystical force because nobody really understands what is the power behind your heartbeat. And how do we close our eyes and see images in our mind when there's no light source in your brain? There's no projector.
Yeah.
There's nothing projecting photons. So somehow there's this beautiful, mysterious energy that moving through us that gives form and function to everything you're doing, whether it's a voluntary action like talking or an involuntary action like your heart beating. We say that chi is what is doing it. It's an organizing power that's within you. And it is most optimized when we can relax and be in this flow state. And it is discordant or out of balance when we get stressed out and we hold stress in the body. It's putting let's say, a kink in the hose of that flow of life force energy.
So amazingly said. And if you would explain what exactly, because you do this movement, yes, in motion, is this meditation. And I remember you even saying like, it's very important. It's not about like doing a lot. It's about moving slow and being aware of your movement and becoming one with the movement. No? So could you explain people a little bit more, like some type of exercises that you are sharing with the audience and how those are influencing the energy and moving the energy in your body?
And I think you said it. And this goes with the title of my book, Ready, Set, Slow. It's like slow down, because there's some principles we work with in Qigong. One is you slow down. Why do you move your body slowly? And it's counterintuitive because when you slow down, you increase energy. And when you slow down, you relax. If you slow down, your mind becomes present because it becomes more alert. Like, why are we moving so slowly? So it starts paying attention to the here and now. It changes your ordinary pace to something slower, and your body and your mind reciprocate each other. Meaning that if you slow down your body, you're going to slow down your mind. If you slow down your breathing and connect it to your body or a body movement, all of a sudden we can soak up, we can pull in. Your body's going to be receptive to the energy that's all around you. In Qigong, we say people are like fish in a sea of chi, but they don't know it. They don't know they're in this ocean of energy that's all around them. We just don't have the tools or the resources to pull it in. Energy is everywhere, but we feel cut off from it because we're tight and constricted. If we relax, all of a sudden everything opens up and we can receive. And so, being that it's a practice that connects to nature, we look at nature and we say nature moves with effortless power. There's no strain, no force, no stress in the way that, say, a river flows down the mountain or a tree moving in the wind. There's no resistance. It's just all this beautiful flowing energy. And that's what we do in Qigong. We mirror that flow of nature.
So beautiful. What I hear you saying, to translate a little bit
Please
in my
do.
own terms here of what I'm understanding, is that in this age right now, we move so fast. We are like on the go, go, go. Being on the go creates tension within our body. It stresses us out, creates resistance, and it also blocks us to be connected, to feel connected with everything around us, with nature, and I would say also with ourselves. Hello. Hi.
We're speaking of nature. We have a natural
So
4-year-old here.
beautiful.
Can you say hi, everybody?
What is
Do you
your
do
name?
Qigong? She's my Qigong teacher.
Wow. What is your name, beautiful?
Can you tell her your name? Harper.
So nice to
Before
meet
she was
you.
born, I would tune into her little spirit, and she told me she wanted to be called Harper because a harpist plays the vibration of the strings of the universe.
Wow.
You're already Harper. Remember before you were born, you said, "Hey, Dad, I want to be called Harper because I'm energy with the universe." Remember that? You do?
So beautiful.
So
So
beautiful.
beautiful. So
Yeah.
how are you practicing Qigong?
How do you practice Qigong? Do you take some deep breaths? I take butthole. And she often will like tell people, patience, take a deep breath, mom. Do you need to take a deep breath? So cute.
Slowing down.
A little guest, little guest interruption.
So beautiful. So beautiful. So by opening yourself up through doing Qigong, you are receiving, and I would love to bring this and tie it in with how is this opening us up to live a more abundant life?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great question because let's come back to nature. Nature is abundant. When you look at an ocean, the waves just are abundant as they keep coming. You stand on the mountaintop and you look at the forest and it just goes on. You know, everywhere you look in nature, there's this abundance. There's not this lack. You know, for humans, what we tend to do is get self-centric. And it's all about me and mine. And this is part of our survival mode or stress mode. When we get out of stress mode, we tune into abundance, that there is no lack, and we get into our heart. And the heart is the organ and the energy center of connection, of, you know, love, of abundance, of gratitude. And we start to move through life in a different way. We start to have this giving and receiving. And truly, when you are in abundance, we feel much more generous and kind because we understand that there's not a lack, and we become more in the space of giving, receiving, connecting. And all of a sudden, when you're in that space, we feel happy. So one of the key metrics of happiness is how much we're in service. And when we're in service and helping others, we feel joyful because we're all connected. And so when we do energy practices, this becomes a felt sense within you, not just a theoretical concept, but something that we really feel to be true within us, that we are all connected. There's this abundant source of energy that's all around us. And we become much more of an open conduit rather than a closed off energy system. And when we're open, we feel joyful. And when we feel closed, we feel stressed out because what about me? What about mine? I don't have enough money. I don't have enough this. I don't have what. And then if we do have enough of those things, but what about in the future? If somebody takes it away or the stock market, we stay in stress mode even when we have plenty. So I've seen very wealthy, resource people just stuck in stress mode because of this what if mindset. And when we start doing energy work and really drop into our heart centers, abundance starts to flow in a really different way that doesn't have anything to do with how much money we have in the bank. It just comes from our energy system.
Yeah, and could you give us some examples there, maybe from your own life or some clients that you have worked on how that has shifted and how they were able to move from this like scarcity and just self-centered to a more abundant?
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking with somebody and she was constantly worried about money and security. So security was just a big primary driver. And when we worked together, all of a sudden she started to feel like she was actually abundant. She owned a house. She was a business owner. And to tune into what's real, to get out of the mind, the storytelling mind that's often life draining, that's out of touch with reality, you know, was a game changer. And what happened was, as she relaxed and became more tuned in and felt more gratitude for what she had, rather than constantly putting attention and energy on what she didn't have or comparing herself to other people with, let's say, more resources, all of a sudden her business got more abundant. She got more clients. And the main thing is she felt more relaxed and she felt more secure in the moment. And there's these parts of our brains, I think in psychology, they call it the reptile brain, the mouse brain, and the monkey brain.
Yeah.
And each of those are part of your survival system. So, you know, The lizard brain always wants to make sure we have enough food. Maybe that's the mouse brain. Mouse and lizard, you're like, do we have food? Do we have shelter? And the monkey brain is all about connection. Do we have a social network where we're connected? If we have those things, we can relax even more. So it's good to remind ourselves, like, do I have a shelter? Okay, I do. Do I have food in the fridge? Can I go to the grocery store and get food? Wow. How abundant is that? I mean, even the most modest people in modern life are living more abundantly than kings and queens, 300 or 400 years ago. And we're connected. We can be connected through our personal networks with our friends and our families, but we can also be connected online. And so we have so much abundance, except these days people feel more stressed out than ever before. So it's this weird dichotomy where we have all of this excess and abundance, yet we're stressed out because we see other people having it, and because society constantly wants us to live in this kind of fear and greed mindset so that we can perpetuate what's going on and the norm. And we're definitely easier to control when we're in scarcity mindset rather than abundant mindset.
Yes. So I heard you like going back to like the main theme here is to be relaxed, because when we are in the lack mentality, lack mindset, it's because we are tensed and we focus on what's not working well, what's going wrong, instead of seeing the abundance that you already have in your life.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, it's important to remember where we're starting from. We're in our nervous system. We're hardwired for danger. It's the most prioritized aspect of our nervous system. So we're going to constantly scan for danger. If there's no danger in our environment, if there's not like, grizzly bears and lions outside in our backyard, we're going to be like, let's scan for danger in the future. If we're in stress mode, stress and survival mode will disrupt happiness, loving kindness, compassion mode. So we won't be in abundance, we'll be in survival, which means that we're mainly focused on our five senses and the external world. When we can calm all that down and get relaxed and reassure those parts of our brain that we are safe, that we are secure, that we do have enough, we can open up to happiness and joy. Because what do people actually want to feel? I mean, most people in modern life are, feeling depressed, low energy, and stressed out. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, that's what I want to feel. We want to feel joyful. We want to feel abundant energy. And we want to feel these deep, loving connections with our community and with nature all around us.
Yeah.
Why isn't modern life supporting that with all of these conveniences, with all of this technology? Why are people feeling anxious, stressed out, tight, in pain? Well, because the energy hasn't yet clicked in and isn't circulating well. We say flowing chi. When the chi flows, there's less pain. And so when there's problems or pain in your body, the chi is stagnant. When we're feeling negative emotions, especially when it's out of touch with what's happening in our immediate reality, the emotional chi is stagnant. When your mind is constantly repeating itself about one thing or over and over, if you notice your thoughts, the same thoughts happening today as they were yesterday, the mind chi is stagnant. And so how do we get out of this? Well, one simple concept is to slow down. Just do everything slower, and all of a sudden you get this shift and this wake up and this disruption of that pattern. Then you turn inside yourself, this choice maker, your consciousness, your awareness back on. It gets brighter. Then you can actually steer your energy and your mind in the direction that you want to go. So slow is a tool to help disrupt internal negative patterns that create stagnation rather than flow. So for example, if everybody just took a very slow, deep breath right now, should we all try it?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, let's try it.
Yes.
Let's slow our breathing down. So if you slow your breathing down, just take a 5-second inhale and then exhale for 5 seconds and just notice what that does to your mind and your body. So inhale for about 5 seconds, and all of a sudden you disrupt, and now we're in the moment, and we can start to work with the energy of the moment. And now just let your mind pay attention to the chair at your back or the floor under your feet. And all of a sudden, you slow down your breathing, now get control of the energy of the mind, and you place it into the present moment. And now you can just say, like, I'm here in this moment. And if you relax your shoulders and your neck, all of a sudden, the energy frees up and starts to flow a little bit better. And we can just keep guiding the energy into more elevated, higher vibrations and improved frequencies within us. Did it work?
So
I think it worked for
amazing.
me.
Yes, it definitely did. And such a small, no, such a small thing, and it takes so little, our breath and just being aware on where we are. And wow, like now we are right before Christmas, Lee. So we are recording this podcast episode right before Christmas. So could you share with people what can they do during this time that it's all about consuming, busyness, do, which I think just brings so much stress for everyone to perform and be at a certain level during holidays? What would you recommend from your practices from Qigong for them to do during this time?
Yeah. And I just taught a Qigong class, and I taught this practice. It was called the lotus flow. And the lotus flower is a flower that grows out of murky waters. And so out of the murky waters of, let's say, stress and all the tribulations that are going on in your life, these beautiful experiences emerge. And, for the time at this season, right, it's colder outside, so we want to bring the warmth inside. It's darker outside, so we want to bring this abundance out in full force. And for this time of year, it's important to remember what's the intention behind it. It's about giving and receiving. It's about giving love and feeling love. Then we do that by giving gifts, but that's only one form of saying how much we appreciate the people in our lives. So I often think do an energy practice, send out some appreciation in your intention, and really pay attention to all the blessings in our life. Sometimes we have so many blessings, but we don't pay attention to it, so it doesn't really land or sit with us. Just, feel into your beautiful children and the blessings of, a moment out in nature. I was just watching, the sunset last night, and it was a very cloudy day, and all of a sudden the clouds, dissipated, and this beautiful sunset came out, and I was like, wow, glorious. And I just sat with it, and I really made a mental note to take it in and not just to discard it. So really allow yourself to be in the space of appreciation and gratitude. And maybe with our words, we can just tell people how much we appreciate them, and, even ritualize some part of the holiday where you're having a meal together, but you just tell people, hey, I really, really appreciate. We go around and have a gratitude or a sharing in some way. And often that is more meaningful than even the gifts that we give. Remember that all the materialism points to something energetic. Because when we get a gift, it's to say something through our energy system. And what does that gift mean? And when we're giving a gift, we're trying to say something as well. Appreciation, love, connection. Thank you for being in my life. All of those things. Because material things are fleeting. The energy of material things are fleeting. We might be excited for a moment, but then it's like, what's next? So if we can get it inside of us, if we can feel the energy of it, it's yours forever.
So really for people to get more in touch of expressing more of how they feel about their loved ones beyond like just giving a gift, beyond of getting worried of like, what am I gonna give them? What material things, what a big dinner I'm gonna do and so on. And
Yeah.
really look at more, how can I create a memory? How can I create an experience? What is the energy that I wanna give out right now to this
Yes.
person, to the family?
That's it.
Mm.
Exactly. And sometimes what I do is we get in a little circle before we do presents or anything, hold hands and just have a gratitude sharing. And it takes like 5 minutes. But I tell you, it's often more memorable than even the gift giving.
Yeah, because the gift is like you look at it, you see it, but then that's it. You put it on the side next to all the other million things you have.
Yep.
No?
Yep.
But the
Yep.
gratitude, for example, it's gonna make you feel something, and that's what we remember.
Yeah. Like I remember last holiday, I got cards from my kids and they wrote a few nice things about me. And that was my favorite present. I was like, to have your 13-year-old or your 15-year-old really see you and write it down, I was like, this is the best gift ever.
Oh,
And
because
they
it was
paint
also
they
from
paint
the
a little
heart,
picture with
no?
it. Yeah. Yeah, I'll
So
remember
beautiful.
that forever. But the jacket that I got is like, okay,
It's
what
there.
was that again?
And who was it from? It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
we
Yeah.
tend to forget. So
Yeah.
beautiful. And tell us a little bit more about your upcoming book. Like, what was the inspiration behind it, and what is about Ready, Set, and Slow?
Right? Like ready, set, like get ready for the day. It's like on your marks, get set, go, but it's like slow. Like it's all about having more moments through the day, like really crafting some beautiful moments throughout the day. So in Qigong practice, it's a movement practice where you go slow. I wanted to take that same principle and apply it to life, both from an Eastern perspective as well as like an evidence-based Western perspective. So like we just did a slow breath. Is that good for you? Well, the science behind slow breathing says absolutely yes. In fact, if you slow down your breathing, your health and your wellness and the preventing of problems goes way up. If you breathe slower, it's like the best pharmaceutical pill in the world. You can't get a better medication than slow breathing. And I was like, okay, I love the science behind these ancient Eastern practices. Slow movement is the same. You can really if you slow down your body, you're going to increase your energy. Then what about if you eat slower? Absolutely. If you eat slower, your metabolism gets stronger.
Mm,
And, you don't even have to change your diet. You just eat slower, your metabolism gets stronger. You don't overeat because you're eating slowly
no.
and the food that you're eating actually registers in your brain. What about like if you exercise, if you lift weights slower, you're going to get stronger and you don't have to do as many repetitions. So it's like if you slow down, you increase productivity. You actually save time.
Mm,
And you have all these beautiful moments and you feel deeply connected to yourself. So there's just this way in which the concept around slowing down improves life because modern life tells you to speed up. And
yeah.
there's a chapter in the book, it's called Bliss Over Busy.
Mm,
Because I was walking around and everybody I was talking to was like, oh man, I'm so busy. Oh gosh, I'm so busy. I got so much to do. I
yeah.
got so many things. And I was like, if you're really busy, you need this practice more than ever. If you feel constantly rushed and in the future, striving always to be in some future moment, we got to slow down and really appreciate because slowing down helps us to reorganize our internal priorities and truly accomplish our goals from a flow state rather than a frantic state.
Yeah. And wasn't it a saying that if you are too busy to meditate, like even 10 minutes, then you should meditate for an hour?
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Yeah, I
Because
love
when
it.
you do a practice like Qigong, when you do a practice like meditation or these slow practices, you will be more efficient. There's other books on the market. Slow is kind of we're having a revolution. There's the slow food revolution. There's slow productivity where businesses are starting to bring these concepts in. And it doesn't mean always go slow. No, it's just another tool to help give us context and to really, for me, it's about creating moments. If we're not having really joyful, elevated moments each and every day, there's something wrong. We need to like craft some moments through the day, whether it's a slow meal with friends and family, watching a sunset, slowing down and just being out in nature for even a couple of minutes, because when you slow down, you go into the timeless. Excuse me, you really feel part of things as opposed to separate or cut off from nature.
You're actually bending time now, as a vision
You are.
is saying in his teachings as well.
Yeah. No, and I love that because time truly is relative. And when
Yeah.
we slow down, we become timeless. And there's so many health benefits to slowing down, longevity benefits to this practice. So often people work really hard and then they finish work and they exercise really hard. In Qigong, there's this concept of yin and yang. And if you're always in yang, like go mode, you don't fill up your tank and you won't have enough energy to do the things you want, nor will you have the energy to enjoy it. Slowing down is giving us that recharge so that we can be in go mode. It's like a really good night's sleep. You have much more energy the next day. If you push it and don't sleep well, you don't fully enjoy the next day because we're tired. And most people in Western society are wired and tired. That means your yin and yang is out of balance.
And by practicing Qigong, it's exactly what it's going to help you with now to
Exactly.
balance the yin and yang.
Yeah, it is. It's about harmony. Stress creates discord and relaxation creates harmony. So think of yourself as a symphony with many different instruments, many different energy systems or organ systems. They're all like instruments. If one instrument is out of tune, even though the rest of the symphony might be in tune, it's going to sound discordant. That's why if one body part hurts, all of a sudden we're completely focused on the thing that hurts. So we want to have the whole system in harmony. That's our mind, our spirit, our emotions, and our body. Everything's working together. Slowing down helps integration and the feeling of wholeness. The word wholeness stems from the word holy, like a whole, like spiritual. When we feel whole, we feel more connected. When we're more connected, we feel just spiritual, meaning that, yes, I'm not isolated by myself. I'm connected to everything else. It's also the same root word of healing. To be whole, holistic healing means we're going to heal. When you heal one part, you heal something else.
Yeah.
So in Qigong, it's part of a medicine that creates wholeness. When you heal an emotional wound, your body feels better and your mind is clearer. When you get out of negative thinking, your body responds by relaxing. Right? When we move our bodies more, we feel better emotionally, we feel clearer in our mind. So everything is integrated and connected. And I think that's what slowing down, that's what energy work has to offer.
Yeah. And for those people that are skeptical when they hear energy and energy work, what would you tell them from the scientific point of view?
I mean, I think energy is science. I mean, this is we can look at it from Western science or Eastern science, from an objective perspective to a subjective perspective. You know, some people, it's funny. I had somebody in my workshop and he's like, I just don't really believe in this energy thing. And it was like a 4 or 5 day workshop. And one of the days later, I said, hey, how's your energy system? And he answered me, he's like, it's pretty good. I'm feeling more energy than I usually do. You know, before I came here, my energy was really low and now it's feeling up. And I was like, you can speak energy. And he was like, I guess I can. He was like, well, I just don't believe in the woo woo aspect of it. And I was like, that's fine. You know, there's nothing woo woo about energy because energy is who you are. And one thing, energy is aliveness. And that's a really good definition. If you are alive, energy, bioelectricity is moving through you. And in China, they called it chi. In India, they called it prana. In the West, we don't really have a great word. They call it bioelectricity, but nobody really uses that word. So it's the spark behind the heart. There's electrical impulses. Every cell in your body has electricity in it, a small charge. But when you add up that 30 trillion cells, you have a ton of electricity. Your nervous system from brain to body has electrical current in it. So everything is electrical. And this is what we mean by chi. Where does that electricity come from? It's mysterious. Nobody knows. So that's why in the West, we don't want to talk about it because we can't explain it.
Yeah.
It's self-evident. It's there. But in the East, we have all these practices to optimize your energy system and make it function at a higher level. So, emotions are energy. So what's the difference between being angry and frustrated and happy and joyful? Well, there's a big difference. What's the difference between being loving and being really upset?
Mm-hmm.
Can we find that in the body? Can we open up your heart and see how much love is in your heart? You can't, because it's energy, it's a frequency, but energy has tremendous impact in the same way emotions have tremendous impact on our life.
Yes. Wow. And I know from what I read from your story, Lee, that what got you on this trajectory was your back injury. So
Yeah,
I would really love to also touch a little bit on this, on how also Qigong actually helps with the injuries in your body and
absolutely.
how you healed
I
in
mean,
3 days.
Qigong is called the art of preventing illness and prolonging life.
Mm,
So it's a prevention practice and it helps with longevity. But when you have something wrong, I had an injury. I was a collegiate soccer player. So 20 years old, playing college soccer, and I jumped up in the air. Somebody took out my legs. I landed on my tailbone, and the doctors say I was out for the season. And so I did all the medication. I did cortisone shots, and nothing helped. And where I grew up, I was taking martial arts as a kid, and this martial arts teacher of mine, he broke this stack of bricks. You've probably seen martial artists
yes.
and I was like, wow, how'd you do that? And he's like, I did it with the power of chi. And he grabbed me by my gi and he lifted me up a little bit. And he said, chi is not for hurting people. It's for healing. And all of a sudden I had this visual, like this flash. I'm going to go see that guy. And he gave me Qigong exercises, did some pressure points, Qigong exercise, a little bit of acupuncture. And after 2 or 3 sessions, I was like 95% better. And that was a catalyst for me. And I was like, why aren't more people doing this? I want to do it. And I want to share the power of this. So from that moment on, I started studying Qigong and acupressure and healing modalities. It took me to Asia. I did, my early 20s, I did 12 trips to Asia. I studied with all kinds of Qigong masters and never looked back.
So amazing how you found your purpose because you followed the insight, I would say.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that deep listening, sometimes our worst life moments become our greatest teachers.
Yes.
And through adversity, we get stronger and we get redirected and shifted in a way that we didn't know what would unfold afterwards.
For sure. Yes. And your book is coming out in January, correct?
Yes, January 1st. You can pre-order it on all the different book places, and it's coming out January 1st. So I'm excited.
Yes. And we will add in the show notes where you guys can pre-order the books and tell us how people can work with you. Like, what are some of
Oh,
your
yeah.
offerings?
Wonderful. I mean, at holdenqigong.com, we have the 30-day challenge. I have tons of resources like on all different kinds of Qigong routines So for back pain, for better digestion, Qigong for sleep, Qigong for morning, Qigong for carpal tunnel. I've done a ton of condition-specific routines.
Amazing.
And I also have a video class subscription. So people can come do Qigong classes with me a few times a week over Zoom. And all the classes are always on the subscription page. So you can have a library of all these classes. So all of that is at holdenqigong.com. And remember, Qigong is spelled Qi.
Yes. Beautiful. And we will add your website in the show notes as well. I want to say thank you so much for coming, for taking out of your time to come and share about Qigong and how people can also create more abundance, calm their minds, and slow down.
And slow down.
Yes.
And thanks for our special guest, Harper.
Thank
who
you,
came on
Harper,
our
for
show.
coming to say
Bet you don't get
hi.
many 4-year-olds on your interview.
I do not. So this is such a privilege. Thank you for coming to say hi,
You're a
Harper.
star. You're a podcast star now. Because Andreea had you on your show. Can you say bye, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for coming.
Merry
Say
Christmas.
hi.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. So good to see you.
So good to see you. Thank you,
And
Lee.
thanks for having me.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in and for listening. Make sure you go and check Lee's work because he's truly a master at what he's doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Spiritual Changemakers podcast. To stay connected and help us reach more people like you, please subscribe, follow, and leave a comment. Join our community of spiritual changemakers on social media to connect with like-minded individuals and continue the conversation. Remember, the power to create positive change is within you. Keep showing up as your best self and let's keep the magic of change alive. Until next time.